Hello, this is Marie. I'm one of your Sherri Baldy colorists. We're going to be using this adorable image 0010, Bestie's Pirate Boy, and we're going to color his skin tone. This is geared toward basic coloring, but I hope those who are intermediate and advanced will enjoy it as well. I'm using one of my favorite coloring papers, Express It. It is very smooth, very little tooth, and so easy to blend with. So I printed my image, and when I do Copic, I like to keep paper underneath. Copic markers or alcohol markers do saturate paper and it is supposed to do that. So it's always good to have paper under your image. I'm using the color combo E000, E00, and E21. When I talk about blending out, when you have one color, I like to take my next color from the very outer edge and flick inward. That's what I mean when I say blend out. And you will hear me refer to flicking motions. You put the marker down and gently flick with your wrist. It can be small flicks or long, depending on the area you're coloring. But do remember that every time you color, even if it's a highlight, you will lay down pigment and it will darken your highlights. So be very cautious of that. To enhance blending, I like to put down a base coat of my highlight. Very lightly. It doesn't have to be super smooth at this point. It just allows the blending to be a little bit smoother. Now I'm going to map where I want to have my shadows, and this will be under the headband, the outer curvature of the face or body part, so that it gives it dimension, cylindrical and not flat. And I think I'm going to have my highlight coming from the front and a little bit toward what would be your left. So I'm going to do my heaviest shadow or shade on your right side. Also, any place that might have a cast shadow, any place that will not be getting direct light source. Now when I begin, I like to use this sparingly because I go over my images a couple times. So with my E21 and now blending out, like I showed you earlier from that outer edge, flicking inward with my midtone, my E00 now, and avoid going right over the top of your shadow side or your midtone with your next color. It will get blotchy if you try to take a light color over a dark color very much. At the end, I may lightly run my highlight over my entire image, but I try to avoid going over it too much with a lighter color. Light colors will work like a colorless blender. It will move color. It is not a blender. It is a mover of color. And your light colors will have a similar action to that on your darker colors. It will move color, and that will give you a blotchy skin tone. We're darkening our shadow with our E21 and now blending out once again with our midtone. I like to go over my image at least twice, if not 3 times. I think you'll get good contrast that way. And I always do it with my lightest map my shadows with my midtone, then darken my shadows, again blend out with midtone and lightly over your highlight. I just repeat that process, and I usually have really good luck with that. He's a little guy, so I'm giving him more of a kind of almost a peachy kind of cheek color with the E93 rather than my R20. I always like to just fleck from the outer edge of my blush with my highlight as well to allow that cheek area to blend. We're repeating the process on the neck. You know, most of your the neck area will be in shadow. That chin will kind of jut out and really block a lot of your highlight, but I do want a little bit there. And now we're going to move on to the arm, and we will do the same thing. We will look for areas, the outer edges, the cylindrical part of the arm, if you think of it as a cylinder, will have shadow. So I'm mapping that area right now with my midtone. And now I'm darkening it with my actual shadow. The area under the sword would be cast in shadow, and particularly the area next to his body will be darker. Then blend out with your midtone and then your highlight, your E000. And we'll repeat that very same process with the other arm. We'll basically put a base coat with our highlight color, and we're going to be having the highlight come from your front and your left, which means the inner part of this arm will be in highlight. We're mapping our shadows with our midtone, the cast area from under the cup and your right hand side, blending out with the midtone and then the highlight. I hope you like this little image, and I hope this tutorial was helpful. You will find the link to this adorable little image under the description below the video, along with all of Sherri's other links. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you give it a big thumbs up, that you will subscribe, and that you'll share. Thank you.